Perth and Subiaco brought vastly different form into the preliminary final. West Perth devoid of the confidence and flair that had been the standard bearers of the competition for much of the season. Subiaco, on the other hand, had won 8 in a row and were full of confidence for the start of this match. The weather was inclement and it was always going to make it difficult, and the game, as you had predicted in a preliminary final, started off at a frenetic pace. There were plenty of physical clashes, and Subiaco working the ball forward reasonably well in the early part, but it was Matt Gordon who got the game off to a flyer for West Perth, kicking an early goal. And one could sense that West Perth, after some indifferent form over the last couple of months, were really going to make a big game of this. Their season hinged on it, but enter George Hampson, almost an unknown for Subiaco, just in his 3rd senior game. He made the most of his opportunities up forward and showed that he is going to be a class player of the future. Although Chris Coonan was dominant in the ruck duels, it was Subiaco who got a lot of clearances, sharking a lot of Coonan's taps. Bristow was one of the instruments in Subiaco's forward moves, combining there with Ben Keevers, who returned to the senior side after a long absence. Subiaco kicked some rapid goals. They took a 2-point lead into the half-time break. The weather opened up in the second quarter. Subiaco continued to go well. Cocky was instrumental in combining with Bristow for goals, and Clancy Wheeler, number 20 for Subiaco, having to ruck for much of the match in the absence of Michael Ricks, did extremely well. Hampson again finishing off a good passage of play for Subiaco. It was West Perth, however, who led by 2 points at half-time. It came to the third quarter. Finer weather. The Falcons had their chances. Gordon combining with Strike. Strike managing to kick an early goal, but Subiaco really did the damage in the third quarter. They kicked 4 goals 3, I should say, to just 1 goal for West Perth. Great mark there to Jeff Gobels. He was able to steady the ship for the Falcons. They had their chances. They missed some of them, unfortunately. They continued to try very, very hard. The match looked as though it was going to go down to the wire, but a couple of critical errors at critical times from West Perth opened it up for Subiaco. Des Headland combining with Ben Keevers, kicking his 2nd goal, and Subiaco were home by 15 points, and with that into the grand final. They led by 2 points at quarter time. They were behind by 2 points at half time, but then 18-point leaders at 3/4 time and ran out winners 8 goals 8, 56 to 5-11-41. The margin in the end, 15 points. And so the Lions progress to the grand final. Claremont versus Subiaco at Patterson Stadium will be live on air from 2 p.m.